And welcome, everybody, to the 128th episode of the Fact Is Podcast. We're your hosts, Nate Moses. And we're going to get you on the screen. See if we can angle
and
that
I'm Ryan Mays.
And I'm Ryan.
Little technical difficulties here. We need to move this camera angle just slightly. There we go. Oh, can't go that way. Got to go this way.
There we go.
There
perfect.
We go.
There we go. All right. Beautiful. So welcome, everybody. 128th episode. Host, us two. Stu be in the back. Stu, how we doing?
Stu. No hat tonight. Sorry, guys. I know I'm disappointing everybody, but
nice do. Oh, yeah.
Luscious.
I was going to say, I like that. How's everybody's week been? Stu, Ryan, y'all doing all right? Doing well?
So far, so good.
Is it Friday yet?
Almost.
I can't complain.
Nah, good week so far.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good times. Loving every minute of it. Can't get on TikTok quite yet. We'll be on there at about 8:40ish. You know,
why not, Nate?
Because I got us banned on there because I was.
You got us banned for saying the T word. We're not going to repeat that word.
Yeah, no, I can't repeat that word now. So
yeah.
but you know, yeah, don't plan to get banned on that anymore because I don't want to. But anyways, yeah, so it has been a very, very fun week so far, gentlemen. And I'm ready to jump right into this if you all are as well.
I'd like to wait just a couple more minutes.
All right, cool. We'll wait a minute.
Can somebody get some Jeopardy music playing?
Do, 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 do,
All right, let's go, baby.
All right, let me do one thing here. Pulling up.
He's doing the thing with the stuff.
They're doing the thing with the stuff to make sure the stuff of the thing is happening. Okay, perfect. All right. Real quick, we're going to go over the board, of course, because, we got to talk about the board. So, number one.
Numero uno.
Trump indictment. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on there. Number two. Biden's bribes.
Is that an apostrophe S or
should be?
That would show ownership.
Yeah, correct. English language, one weird language. Number three, Democratic debates. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Talk a little bit about that. Number four, China spy base. Thanks, Cuba.
Eric Swalwell.
And then number five, Russia and Ukraine. So
our favorite topic.
Talk a little bit about that at the end because we talk about that almost every single week.
Because it's an ongoing conflict and
war of attrition.
You never know what's going to come out of there.
So we'll talk about that a little bit. Other than that, please make sure, everybody, that you are doing us a huge favor. We got to get this plug in.
Like, comment, share, and most importantly.
Yep. So do that for us.
If you're not doing those four things, are you actually engaging in the Fact Is podcast?
That's right, because we're here to engage and we're here for you all because we like doing this for you guys. We like having fun and we like engaging with everybody here. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the very first topic, Trump indictment. Let's talk about the 5 takeaways from the Trump indictment over classified documents. So, first, here are the 5 takeaways from Friday's indictment accusing former U.S. President Donald Trump of illegally retaining classified documents, government documents, after leaving the White House and then conspiring to obstruct a federal probe of the matter. So, first, Trump kept documents on military and nuclear programs. Documents kept at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida included information on U.S. and foreign countries' defense and weapon capabilities, U.S. nuclear programs, and U.S. vulnerabilities to potential military attacks and plans for possible retaliation in response to foreign attacks, according to the indictment. Number 2, Trump shared classified information with others. During a July 2021 interview with a writer at his Bedminster Club in New Jersey, Trump allegedly described a plan of attack against another country that a military official had drawn up. Trump said the information is highly confidential and that he could have declassified it as president, but no longer could. The exchange was recorded in the indictment says. Trump conspired with an aide to hide documents. So after receiving a grand jury subpoena in May of 2022, requiring him to produce all documents with classified markings in his possession, Trump allegedly directed his aide, Walt Nauta, to remove 64 boxes of documents from a storage room at Mar-a-Lago Trump's residence. Before Trump's lawyer arrived at the club to conduct a search of the storage room in response to the subpoena on June 2nd, Nauta spoke with Trump on the phone and then moved 30 of those boxes from Trump's residence to a storage room. Trump kept documents on ballroom stage in shower. One photo included in the indictment shows boxes allegedly containing classified documents being stored in a bathroom at Mar-a-Lago where events and gatherings took place. Some documents were stored in the bathroom and shower at the club. According to another photograph, we do have some photographs that we will pull up here in a minute. And then the last one, Trump was aware of classification responsibilities. The indictment includes statements Trump made during his campaign and presidency indicating he understood the importance of handling classified material appropriately. In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information, Trump said during his 2016 campaign. No one is above the law. So, interesting takes, or interesting information here, I should say. This is a hard topic to discuss because I understand the severity of keeping these documents where they are. And like I said, my biggest concern is I know he does a lot of business with foreign entities. So if you're doing that business and you're conducting business at your Mar-a-Lago home, hosting a party, whatever it may be, what is the potential that a foreign entity can get a hold of these documents or that it's shared or things of that nature, But I also understand why people are getting so frustrated because Biden was also found with documents in his home. So it's like I can see where
was
people
also
are coming from
found
both
in
sides.
a bribery scheme.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit too.
It warrants a lot of backlash. So,
but yeah, so Trump with the documents that he has going on here, clearly. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on what's going to happen with this indictment, whether or not he will even be able to run for president again. Now, he's already made statements that regardless of whether he's found guilty or not, he's going to continue running. But as we all know, the law won't let that happen. So we'll see what happens there, especially if he comes up with a felony, right? If he has a felony, then he's not allowed to run as president of the United States. So we'll see what happens ultimately with this. But Stu, go ahead and pull up some of these photos. I really want to get the photos out there for people to be able to see. All right, so here's some photos of from the Trump indictment showing boxes of classified documents stored in the Mar-a-Lago shower ballroom. So all of these boxes here that you see in the first picture, the second picture, right? These were all found throughout the ballroom, bathroom, shower, office space, bedroom, storage room, all sorts of different places where all of these boxes were. The indictment also shows photographs of boxes that spilled over in the storage room, including a document marked secret /REL to USA, FVEY, which means information releasable only to members of the Intelligence Alliance of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. In the photo, the classified documents redacted. And yeah, just some more pictures there. So interesting.
I mean, the thing that's crazy about this is what do you need with all those documents?
That is
really truthfully.
That is the crazy part.
The second thing that's kind of crazy about this is why would you store those just in random places around Mar-a-Lago?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me either. And then third, why isn't the same level of scrutiny being held against Joe Biden?
No, because right now he's in all sorts of schemes. I'm sure they'll come back to him.
Well, I mean, that's what concerns me about the whole thing is yes, okay, so we can speculate that, Trump's meeting with Saudi, he's meeting with Iran, he's doing these things, and we can speculate that maybe they're going over documents or whatnot, but that's all speculation. Right now, they have an investigation currently into Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the Biden family, and that shows they have documentation of a bribery scheme that's going on, which will be our second topic that we're going to get into here in a minute. So I'm kind of segueing into that. But that's a little more concerning to me than him just having the things, stashed around his house.
Right.
Because again, that everything else that we've just said, his meetings and the money that's moving around with these other countries and stuff, that's all speculation. So when you have speculation and then you have actual investigation, I tend to go with whatever the actual investigation is, pending what it finds. And so that makes me a little more concerned about Biden's position in the whole bribery scheme, what's going down with Burisma, what's going down with Hunter, and what's going down with that side of the political spectrum. The Trump thing, I'm just going to call it like I see it. It really does kind of feel like a witch hunt. Anything and everything they can do to try to get this man out of power and make it so he can't go back into power. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. Whether that's correct or incorrect, that's just how it feels.
Right.
So that's my opinion on it. And if he truly did do something wrong and he truly did break federal law, then yeah, prosecute him. Get him out of there.
But
because we can't have somebody who's going to put the country at risk and put the country at danger.
But you would have to hold accountable
every
party who's done that.
Everybody who's ever been found with documents who has not complied needs
Mike
to
Pence
be also
included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all need to be held accountable.
Yep. So I mean that'd be Biden, Mike Pence, and Trump as of
Obama.
right
The difference
now.
between Biden, Trump, and Pence is Pence and Biden gave their documents over, and Trump, it was like a whole fiasco.
Right. But at the same
So
time,
that's the difference.
At the same time, though, if it's illegal to have classified documents,
It's
then
illegal to
it's
have
illegal to have
classified
classified documents, whether you did it, whether you cooperated with police or not. Like, right, like murderers, when they get caught, whether they cooperate
whether
with
they
police
turn
or
around
not,
and put their hands behind their back. I mean, they still should go to
did
jail for
something
murder.
illegal. Exactly. So
I agree.
No, but yeah, I see both points here, right? So like again, if Trump is guilty of this, then they also need to circle around and do the exact same thing with Biden, and then obviously he'd be impeached at that moment, and Kamala Harris would be the new president.
You would think.
You would think,
and that's why
That's almost scarier.
it would. This is what bothers me too, is because like when you bring this up, oh, but what about Biden? Oh, what about Hillary Clinton? Okay, you're either for all these people being prosecuted or you're for all of them getting off the hook. So if you're for Trump getting off the hook, then you're for Hillary getting off the hook. You're for Biden getting off the hook too.
correct?
Absolutely. And that's why, at the end of what I was saying, if they comes to find that they did do something wrong, like indict them and make sure that they cannot run for political office again.
Do it to all of them.
And it needs to be a blanket.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, cool. We're on the same kind of understanding there. And then we got one more article here that we're going to talk about. It's the Trump campaigns after indictment unsealed. So, talk about this a little bit, and then we'll end up moving on to our next topic. So, former President Donald Trump vowed Saturday to continue his bid for a second term, even if he is convicted in the Mar-a-Lago document case, where, again, if you're convicted and it's a felony, you can't do that. So, we'll see what he says. I'll never leave, he told Politico in an interview aboard his plane.
All right, Belford.
I thought the same thing. After speaking at a Republican state convention in Georgia, he further predicted that he will not be convicted and sidestepped questions about whether he would pardon himself if elected. I don't think I'll ever have to, Trump said. I didn't do anything wrong. The indictment unsealed Friday accuses Trump of willfully defying Justice Department demands to return classified documents, enlisting aides in his efforts to hide the records, and even telling his lawyers that he wanted to defy a subpoena for the material stored at his residence. So it doesn't really help his case, but again, it's, if one's guilty, they're all guilty.
The one thing I will say about Trump is he dodges lawsuits like Neo from the Matrix dodges bullets.
Dodges bullets.
Like, it's straight at bullet time. He's like, like somehow or another, he just dodges so many. Like, and then one slips through and hits him in the leg, and he's like, it's a flesh wound.
Yeah, I'll be all right. Get back up.
Somehow or another, man, he's got the best lawyer team known to man outside of O.J. Simpson, or you like that?
I like that.
Or he's not guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the two.
Yeah. He, like you said, dodges bullets.
Neo from the Matrix. I'm just gonna start calling Trump
the
Neo.
O.J. Simpson thing, that was great. Good Lord.
Yeah, you see, I bring it all full
Way
circle.
to throw it all in there off the cranium there.
Bro, I cannot think of a better defense attorney than, what was his name, Kardashian, right?
Yeah, the Kardashian dude. I can't remember his.
Robert Kardashian? Was that what? I don't know.
I think that's the son. I don't remember.
Anyway, that dude somehow or another got OJ off, and he was just like, look, the glove, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I'm not trying to put it on. It just doesn't fit.
I love it.
Juice couldn't have done it.
Juice couldn't have done it. In his first public appearance since the 37 felony counts against him were unsealed, Trump blasted the indictment as ridiculous and baseless. They've launched one witch hunt after another to try and stop our movement, to thwart the will of the American people, Trump said, later adding, in the end, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you. The strategy is a well-worn one from Trump, who remains the front runner for the 2024 GOP nomination despite his morning legal woes. He is scheduled to speak to another Republican audience in North Carolina later Saturday. Congressional Republicans have prepared an aggressive campaign against the Justice Department for months, a key part of former Trump's public defense against this week's indictment on charges of mishandling classified documents. The indictment alleges Trump kept classified documents in the bathroom and shower at his Florida estate, which we just discussed, as well as other various locations, including in the ballroom, storeroom, office, and bedroom. Prosecutors noted that tens of thousands of members and guests visited the active social club of Mar-a-Lago between the end of Trump's presidency in January 2021 through the August 2022 search. They argued that nonetheless, Trump stored documents in a ballroom, bathroom, shower, and office space, his bedroom, and storage room. Yes. The attorney told federal authorities that he discussed the folder of classified material with Trump and how the material should be handled. The attorney told authorities that as they discussed the attorney taking the materials with him, Trump gestured in a way that suggested he wanted the attorney to identify anything really bad and, pluck it out. The lawyer clarified that Trump did not articulate such instructions beyond making the plucking motion. So I don't know. That's just grasping.
Pluck it on out.
Yeah, that's kind of grasping at straws there.
Dude,
the dude's either
it
legal
seems like it
or
all is.
the dude's either guilty or not. And again, if he's guilty, so is Biden, so is or maybe Kamala. I don't know if she has.
Why does
documents
he
there,
have the documents in the first place? Why are they at his Mar-a-Lago house?
why do any of them need documents?
Well, the other thing is
Let's
lot
focus on Trump right now, though.
Yeah. So my guess would be that during his presidency, he had things that were going on, and he needed to have documents at his house because he needed to be informed of what the situation was whatever situation that may have been. That's the only reason I can think that he would need to have those documents.
The FBI asked for them back. Why did he not comply?
Because he didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong.
I mean, yeah, that. There's a bunch of different things he could have been, but it does seem sketchy. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that at all. If they're saying, hey, you need to give us this stuff back, he should say, okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, though. He didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong because he was allowed at that time to keep classified. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't they already confirm that it is legal to keep classified documents as sitting president,
former president?
And then I
think so. I think it's just the sensitivity of it,
right?
Which I believe the sensitivity of it is then isn't that like given weight by the current administration, like those things are really sensitive, you need to get those back.
Yeah,
I don't think they're allowed to have them unless they're declassified, and they don't appear to be declassified in this case.
Well, that leads me to my next question, like why, if he was going to keep them all, why didn't he just declassify them all?
Yeah, that's another good question, right? Like, why not just do that? I don't know, and that's a great question. Now, granted, with the amount of documents that he had there, I mean, it'd be hard to keep track of all that. I mean, I
feel like that'd be hard to get them out of the White House.
Yeah, I mean, I can barely keep track of.
That's why I'm saying,
myself.
like, I think he's literally, I think he had all that stuff from when he was president.
Yeah, and
probably those were different times, different situations, different events that were going on while he was president that he just had them there, and stored them.
Yeah,
but it still doesn't make sense that he didn't cooperate with authorities.
No, that doesn't.
I think, again, most of it comes from him believing that he didn't do anything wrong and there was no reason for him to have to turn over those documents. That's my personal thought on that, but again, I could be wrong.
And the other thing is,
if I break the law and think I didn't break the law, I'm good.
I mean, not necessarily, but look at any person that gets arrested and thinks that they didn't break the law. What do? They fight back.
He was literally notified by the FBI to give the documents back, or this will happen, and he didn't cooperate.
And he met the bad side of that.
Didn't we read something not too long ago on one of our episodes where it said that he was cooperating with the FBI, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they raided his house? Wasn't that the big story from like 6 months ago?
I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was working with the FBI on those declassified documents, and then they did raid his house. Yeah. I thought that was the case, but
I'm pretty sure that was one of the things. But
then now they're saying that he wasn't cooperating, so I don't know. It's hard to say, and it could be that he was just stringing them along, and then all of a sudden they got frustrated. I'll be honest, I do not know. But I'd imagine if the FBI is saying he didn't cooperate, then I mean, I don't know. They're also trying to cover up Hunter Biden. So.
I was gonna say that's the other thing is like how valid is anything that the FBI says?
Yeah, this is so scary. I don't know,
isn't it?
I don't know.
Terrifying.
I don't know what's right, what's wrong.
Like it's you don't, and that's what's all messed up about it. Like it does appear that he is having political warfare waged against him, because he represents a huge threat to the establishment, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Because he's already said and made it very well known that day one he's going to go in there and he's going to slap everybody with a huge tweet that says you're fired.
I don't buy that because he didn't do that the first time. So I think he's saying a lot of things, but he's not going to follow through with
Potentially, but he's the only one that's also saying it outside of what's that guy's name? Kamaswamy?
We tried saying this
butcher that
earlier.
guy's name every time, but he's talking about it too. He's talking about like just going through and wiping out, the like 40, 50 year tenured people who are part of that quote unquote deep state that have just been there and they have not been elected to the positions. They've been there for years and years and years, and now they pull the strings behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaving it at this. If we are going to hold President or ex-President Trump accountable, former President Trump, for the documents that he had on his premises, whether he cooperated or not, we just need to make sure that we follow back with it, and we need to make sure we hold every single individual who has them at their premises and doesn't need them there. So
absolutely,
that's just my thought on it. And I know focusing on Trump right now because he is like the big key person that we're talking about, but and
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but you just wanted to kind of discuss solely around Trump, and completely understood. I just, at this point, we just have to keep seeing where it goes, because there's timelines and you can discuss everything, but at the end of the day,
Do you think the content matters on what's in the documents?
I think it does.
Oh, if it's about the aliens, bro, then we need to know.
We need to
about it.
know. No, I think it does, because here's the thing. Like the article said, there was a number of social events there. Depending on what those documents contained, it could have been something very key to one of those guests at those social events. And maybe by the end of it, they're like, oh, we're missing documents that, are involved with this or this. And like, where are those documents? And if that's the case, that could be a very serious situation.
That could be.
We just don't know right now, and we'll just have to continue following the indictment as it goes on.
What if he has documents on the Biden scandal?
Oh. No wonder he would never want to give it up. That's a good point too.
Maybe that's why he was like uncooperative with the FBI.
I feel like
we're getting into a huge realm of speculation at this point.
I feel like he would have called that out though, like immediately. Been like, I have documents. Do not let them take them away from me, because God only knows what will happen if it disappears. I feel like he might have said that, but who knows?
Maybe
it says
maybe
right
not.
here. He also had hundreds of classified documents that, as former president, he wasn't authorized to have.
Yeah, it does say that on that AP article.
What as a president though? What would he be authorized or not authorized to have? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're the president of the United States. There's documents that you're not authorized to have.
He was president.
This was after he was president.
And he was asked to give the documents over, and he did not cooperate.
Interesting. I don't know. Showed off and refused to return. Yeah, I mean, again, we'll just have to keep track of it, and we'll have to keep monitoring the indictment and anything that comes out of it, because as of right now, we're all just kind of at a standstill, right? Like whatever we find out of this happens. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, and the other thing is we are definitely in the realm of speculation right now.
Yeah, because none of us know what the real facts are right now.
Exactly.
Because we don't know which exact
we're just giving
documents.
our opinion on it. We're just giving, what it could be.
All opinionated.
And just kind of going down the different rabbit holes that are associated with it. So it could be.
I'm all for holding politicians accountable.
Yeah.
If they break the law.
Agreed.
All for it.
I'm about that life.
So, speaking of holding politicians accountable, shall we move on to the next topic of, because of course we'll keep up with the indictment and we will definitely inform you all as we find out more, but I would love to jump into the next topic of Joe and Hunter Biden.
Before we move on, do we have any comments?
Any comments, any thoughts?
Anything in there?
There is, so everything that we've cited today, you can go back and look. There's timelines, there's everything you can go back and look at and be up to date on with the articles.
I just got a text. We do have some comments on YouTube.
Oh, do we?
But apparently they're not showing up.
They're not showing up. They were in negotiations. Okay, so even the FBI were being strung along. There's absolutely no precedent for them to take this extreme action. Then he asked about your tattoo. That's all Pune.
Pune?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see it? Right there.
Nice little tattoo right there.
I guess I could turn it that way so you can see what's going on. Here we go.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the FBI, the reason they're doing this is because, again, I guess my point is kind of like what I was discussing earlier. If any of these documents were something, because I mean, here's a fact that we do know: he's in bed with a lot of foreign countries, right? Like a lot of money comes from Saudi Arabia, a lot of money comes from other countries that we know of, and
other countries.
So if he had individuals from those countries, those foreign powers, coming to his house during those social events, the fact that those documents could have fallen into the wrong hands is very scary, right?
Well, and it's highly possible as well.
That's the thing. With the amount of social events I'm sure he had at that Mar-a-Lago estate, and with the amount of people that were around it, even he had other people moving these boxes. Who's to say these people aren't?
And they're snapping pictures.
And they're snapping pictures, sending it off to their employers, whoever it may be. I mean, there's so many different things that could have happened. And that's why it's scary for it to be anywhere but a secured location. Biden's garage in his freaking Corvette, or next to his Corvette. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, wherever the hell Pence had it.
Biden had a bunch of different places.
That's right.
In Delaware, he had it in another house, and then he had it in his garage with his
next to his Corvette.
So I mean, there's probably gasoline all over those because those old Corvettes are not very reliable.
Hey, now leave them Corvettes alone.
Hey, I'm not saying they're not beautiful.
all right. I'm just making sure.
4-barrel carburetors are not the most reliable, up to date engines.
But yeah, so
but they sound great,
don't they? The point is that all this is that this is all show trial that is designed to distract from the real problem. So what would you say is the real problem? I'm interested in that.
They're Pune.
How about it, Pune?
Come on, Pune. Let's hear from you. I'm messing. That's our boy Steve.
Yeah, I love Steve, but I still want to hear what he has to say about that. So
I just like making fun of his gamer tag, I guess, is the
is
best
that what
way
it is?
I don't know if it's a gamer tag or if it's
just something he created.
A name he created or whatnot.
Hunter Biden and the big guy. But which, yeah, understandably, but they are investigating into that. And like we've talked about in our previous episodes, we've even had whistleblowers come out and be like, dude, they're trying to cover up. So I understand what you're saying there, but it's not going unnoticed. Like, we're still talking about it. We still have information on that. So being able to separate, hey, Hunter Biden's getting investigated over here, but let's talk about and let's make sure we hold Trump accountable.
I just feel like this is what the right
that.
And left do all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but look at this. But look at these guys. Look at these guys. Look at Biden.
What they're doing.
Oh, but look at what Trump's doing. Oh, but look at what they're doing. No. You're all doing wrong. Let's bring it full circle. Let's come back to it.
And that's the one thing, like, I do agree with Trump about it, that it is a very swampy mess. It's a swampy mess up there, man.
It really is.
Like a cesspool of corruption, greed, and just
You can't
more
tell me
corruption.
this dude for years hasn't lived in a swamp himself.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah, and he's been exposed
I was just
to
saying
it.
he was right about DC. It is a swampy mess.
Oh yeah. He even if he brings himself down, I'm at least happy because I will say the one thing that Trump did when he first got into office is he brought up all about like fake news, and he started a huge thing against the establishment. So,
and I mean, he was absolutely right about the fake news stuff. So
yeah. And he said Pune is short for Pawnosaurus.
What?
Pawnosaurus. Pawnasaurus, whatever the hell that is.
Pawnosaurus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whatever
That's
that
cool.
is. So.
Are you like a Pawn Star?
Yeah. All right. Next topic. Let's talk about Joe and Hunter Biden.
Let's talk about Hunter Biden and the big guy.
In the big game.
But what about Trump? What about Trump?
So Joe and Hunter Biden caught on 17 recordings with Burisma owner. Grassley reveals, FBI form says. So a top Senate Republican revealed Monday that an FBI informant said the Ukraine oligarch involved in the alleged criminal bribery scheme with Joe and Hunter Biden also claimed to have 17 recordings of his conversations with the president and his son. Senator Chuck Grassley revealed on the Senate floor that a largely unredacted version of the Bureau's FD 1023 Hunter Biden confidential human source form said that the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden allegedly has audio recordings of his conversations with them, 17 such recordings, and there's more to it. So there is a video there if you want to play that, Stu. And Ryan, we can mute ourselves here.
I don't have the video.
Oh, you don't have the video?
No video.
Try to refresh the page there. Left, very far left. There you go. No. Interesting. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that.
Read the full story there.
But yeah, so this is definitely something that we'll have to kind of keep track of. Because I would love to hear all 17 of these recordings.
Here's the thing. If there's nothing that comes out of this, then we absolutely know that something is crooked because, oh no, am I muted? No, I'm not muted. If nothing comes out of this, then we absolutely know that something corrupt is going on because Trump was impeached for having a conversation with Zelensky and saying, hey, there's something shady going on with Hunter Biden. Let's find out what it is.
Right.
Let's figure out what's going on here. And he got impeached because of that. Now they're saying that there was 17 different recordings of Hunter and Joe having conversations with Burisma. And
yeah.
So the things that Trump was asking about and probing into in Ukraine that got him impeached look like they are coming true. Those are things that should have been inquired about.
Yeah. So Ukrainian officials said in June of 2020 that they were offered $5 million in bribes to shut down criminal investigations into Burisma and allow Zelensky, who has been living abroad, to return to Ukraine. They said that this was unconnected to Joe and Hunter Biden, but we'll see.
We'll see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, we'll end up keeping on top of that story as well. So as of right now, just kind of keep on your radar. There's potential recordings of some big briberies out there between Joe and Hunter Biden. So we'll definitely keep on top of that.
Well, before we move on to the next topic, I do want to take this really important opportunity to remind everybody to please like, comment, share, and follow the Fact Is podcast.
Yes.
The other thing I would also like to bring up at this moment before we move on to the Democratic debates or the lack thereof is UFOs, aliens, bro.
They're real.
Did you see that the whistleblower came out and said that we have recovered bodies, recovered crafts, recovered things that are not of this world?
And it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that as well.
Bro, I told my daughter that aliens were real and she freaked out. So I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But then I'm like, no, she needs to know the truth. And then I'm like, is she going to think the boogeyman's real?
Yeah, my girlfriend loves two things. Right now, she's obsessed with sharks. I don't know what her obsession is with sharks.
They're majestic, I understand.
Yeah, she's like a big Shark Week fan. And UFOs. She was all about UFOs. She asked me, she was like, are y'all talking about UFOs tonight? I was like, not tonight, but I'm sure we'll touch up on it again.
We always talk about aliens. That is my number one thing that I bring up every single episode, because if we're not talking about aliens, then what are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? They're coming out. The biggest thing from the last 75 years is coming out, and they're saying, you guys were right.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, the alien discussion is very interesting.
Hey, Stu, pan over to me real quick. Aliens.
Now y'all just got to remember the guy with the meme and the... Yeah. So there's Brittany right now. She said UFO.
Yes.
She's all about the UFOs, and but here's the funny part. She's terrified of aliens, and she's like, "Oh, it's scary. What happens if they want to come kill us?" Well, no, I mean, they're so technologically advanced. They probably look at us and be like, "Y'all are kind of pathetic," and just we'll just be around. Come catch up to us whenever you can. I don't know. We'll because.
Do you think Biden and Hunter are in with the aliens? Do you think that's what Burisma is about? Maybe that's the corruption that's going on. They got dealings not with China, not with Russia, but the federal, the federal galactic space force out there that says, we know about y'all.
I do just want to say, Trump did create an entire military branch called Space
Everything
Force.
that's coming out right now about the UFOs is because of Trump releasing the classified documents.
I do want to say that is very interesting. So,
but kind of getting back though too,
with the Biden bribe.
Yes, because I don't want to leave this just yet. And
it is serious.
It is very serious. Like, Trump got impeached for less than what's going on currently.
Was trying to get impeached. Yeah.
Finally, somebody actually threw up, I wouldn't even say like a fastball. It was more like a change up to Biden. He was like, where's the money? It's like, we're following it, bro.
Yeah.
They're talking about all this stuff that's going on between millions of dollars getting shuffled between accounts, going through all their books and everything else. And then they've now subpoenaed even more bank records and different dealings, like, of where this money is going,
right,
being filtered out through the entire Biden family. Like, at this point, is it enough present for us to call them the Biden crime family?
Well, and so it's going to be hard, because what they're going to have to do is they are really going to have to track this money, because it goes through account to account to account to account, and
exactly.
offshore here, there, and that's what they all do, right? Like, they're all smart enough to play that game, but it's so hard to
Biden
track
can
the
sit
money
there
line.
and throw his half smile up like, where's the money?
I still think
I got Stu to laugh.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I still think that man needs to be put in a retirement home. His family should be ashamed for using him as just like a pawn, like a spearhead up there. Like, he really is so mentally declined at this point. Like, we really need to find him. Like, I feel bad for him, right?
I don't
know,
because he
sucks.
has put himself through this, first of all.
But there's a certain point where you can't take care of yourself anymore.
Oh, absolutely. I disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. But the other thing is at what point do you tell somebody, hey, you're not fit for this job anymore?
Right.
That is where I feel bad for him now.
Yeah.
Simply because he's up there, he doesn't have the mental facilities to do the job correctly.
Right.
He's literally made America the laughingstock of the world. Like, right now, the other superpowers are looking at us like, yeah, that's funny. Yo, did you see him fall? Like, that's what's going on right now. And then all of this other stuff that's coming out, like I said, Trump was impeached for less.
Yeah.
For less. And way less.
So
Bill Clinton was impeached for less.
Pune says a funny thing too, kind of coming back to the alien thing. He said, unfortunate the alien stories come out when the trust and faith in government is at like historic lows, which he is right.
Yeah, my trust and faith in the government is at a historic low.
Oh yeah.
But my trust and faith in the UFOs is at a historic high. It's at a historic high.
I've always known them damn aliens are real.
The footage from an F-16, he's following a diamond-shaped craft, and it's doing turning, and then it zips off the screen faster than an F-16. Like, those things can go, Mach 3, Mach 4.
Yeah.
Somebody out there, if you have more, knowledge on that subject, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that they can go, like, way faster than the speed of sound, and this thing is like, yeah. Catch me if you can, copper.
Catch me now, boys.
Like, disappearing from their radar like Al Capone in Chicago back in the day, bro. Like, pow, gone. So when you see videos like that, and you see these highly decorated military officials coming out and saying something weird is going on,
right?
And then you got people coming from the inside whistleblowing and saying we've recovered bodies, we have recovered spacecraft, we have recovered things that are not of this world. Man, I have more faith in that than I do in that Trump held all these documents.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. So we'll keep on top of all that, and of course with the Biden family and what's going on there with the
Biden crime syndicate,
we will definitely stay on top of that, because the Biden bribe is pretty.
What are the odds that the
Bidens
don't get held accountable and the Trumps don't get held accountable?
Very slim. I think the Bidens don't get held accountable. Trump does.
I actually am inclined to disagree. I think neither one does.
You think neither?
I think neither.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with neither one gets held accountable, and it just dusts on, or
And then Trump wins the election.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I mean, if Trump runs in 2024, he's winning. It
does seem that way.
That is my thought. And if Trump does get held accountable, and felony charges are brought against him, I feel like I feel like it's going to go one way or another. Either both get not held accountable or both do.
If somehow this turns around and Trump wiggles his way out of this one and it's some fake investigation, then yeah, 100%.
Trump wins this election.
Going
Probably,
away.
yeah.
Easily winning this election. If he gets found guilty, there is no way they don't come back and do it to the same with Biden, because if they don't, there will be
Hell to pay.
riots.
Well, this is the other thing. If they hold Trump accountable, but they don't hold Biden accountable, does that turn Trump into a martyr of
Yes.
sorts?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
And then at that point, when he says, I'm not going to not run, and still goes out and tries to do it,
Then the government is going to intervene. He's going to get arrested, and then it is
Boom.
going to. That is
What
riots in the
down
street.
the whole system.
That is riots in the street.
What they need to do is, if there's these recordings out there of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden,
Release them.
they need to release them.
Release them. Let's hear it. Like the fact this podcast will be the first ones to release these recordings. I wish,
Dude.
You know, now that would get us some publicity.
Talk about some clickbait, bro.
Like, I can't stand the little info week to week. Just put it all out there,
Yeah,
man.
just throw it out there, man. Just let it go.
I mean, yes and no, because they have to, you know, there's an order of operations here, and they have to go by those things to make sure that some of the information is not going to potentially compromise American security, American troop security, military operations, and things like that. So they do have to go down through everything and make sure that everything is good.
Real quick, I do want to say Pune
Sounds like
came
you have
back.
confidence in the government then.
Not really.
But he's not wrong. They do follow like a certain way of doing things and
It's
how
just
they
like
release
math,
it.
bro. It's order operations.
Yeah.
You know, parentheses, exponents.
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
There you go.
Pune does
Multiplication,
say
division,
parentheses
addition, subtraction.
Yeah. Pune says 1,319 miles per hour.
Dang, that's fast.
That's the max speed, Mach 1.8.
Hey, Pune, since you obviously have a computer here at your disposal, what is the top speed of an F-22 Raptor?
Good question. Because
if those things are outrunning Raptors, like, bruh.
Let's go on to number 3. I really want to talk about these Democratic debates
Or
or
the lack
lack
thereof.
thereof. Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Poll. So 8 in 10 Democratic primary voters want Joe Biden to debate. Love that. So.
Yeah. We all want to see him debate, because then that'll actually show what his mental capacity is.
So
you can get up there and be like, hey,
they're going to pump him full of Adderall.
what did I have for lunch?
So primary
applesauce?
voters say in a USA Today / Suffolk. How do you like Suffolk? Gosh, it's so weird. English language, man. University poll. They would like to see a series of Democratic debates during the 2024 campaign. That includes an overwhelming 72% of those supporting President Joe Biden.
You know what
That's
that says?
wild. They have no faith in him.
None.
Yeah, they want to see what his mental capacity is, like you said. So I mean, yeah, that's interesting. So this kind of clearly tells me that Democratic voters really just spite voted against Trump because of how much they hated him back in 2020.
And now they're like, damn. Maybe we made the wrong
let's
decision
revisit
here.
and see if we can get.
I mean, I don't like Trump, but this is not good.
Let's see if we can get old.
Our economy sucks right
let's
now.
see if we can get RFK up there to start debating.
Dude, could you imagine a debate between him and Biden? That would be the most annoying debate ever.
But RFK
Not because
would destroy
RFK
him.
is not there. Like, RFK is one of my favorite candidates that's
Yeah.
out right now.
He's fantastic.
But his voice is hard to listen to for long periods of time.
It gets
And
tough.
then Biden is just hard to look at.
But the odds of that actually happening are close to zero, as you can get in politics. Biden has expressed no interest in participating at the Democratic National Committee, says it won't sponsor any. History is on their side. As you know, no incumbent, Republican or Democrat, have done debates. Kevin Muniz, spokesperson for the Biden campaign, said in an email, incumbents generally see no advantage to risking a misstep or to giving their challenger such a significant platform, which is absolute bullcrap. You know what? Come over here, Robert. We'll give you a platform to debate on.
Well, we should reach out to his people.
In 1980, for instance, President Jimmy Carter didn't debate Massachusetts Senator Ted Kennedy. Now Kennedy's nephew, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is mounting a challenge to Biden that is considerably lower prospects to success. Biden's claim to the nomination has been seriously threatened, but the findings underscore his need to consolidate and energize the Democratic base. In the poll, 58% of Democrats support Biden for the nomination, while 15% back Kennedy and 6% back Marianne Williamson. 20% or 21% are undecided. There could be.
He's got 15% right now, and we're over a year out.
Yeah. So there could be at least a bit of political downside to ducking the debates. The decision not to debate and ignoring the 82% of women, 84% of union households, 86% of independents, and 90% of young voters who are not only planning to vote in their state's Democratic primary or caucus next year, but also would like to see a series of Democratic primary debates, noted David Palogas, director of Solfix Political Research Center.
Wouldn't it be wild if he lost the caucus?
Who, Biden?
Yeah.
Not really. But,
like
I mean, first time
primary?
in history, yeah, it'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be wild?
It wouldn't shock me.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
but
I see what you're saying.
All these people, like, because Kennedy's going to keep going. He's going to be out there. He's going to be doing his thing.
And I love it.
And all it's going to take is for a couple of rallies for Biden to have missteps, gaffes, whatever you want to call them, lapses in mental capacity.
Judgment, yeah.
And for them to be like, this ain't it. What is this other guy doing?
Right.
And then they start listening to RFK, and then next thing you know, Biden loses the primary or Biden loses the caucus. Like, bruh, that would be huge.
Wild.
That would be wild. I think that would be the first time that any sitting president has lost its own party's like primary, isn't it?
It would, because they've never done it before. They've never.
Is there even going to be a vote? I mean, there has to be a
not
vote.
No, not. I mean, as of right now,
there's no debate, but there is a vote still. Like, somebody has to win that nomination, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. So yeah, I'd imagine though, through past years in history, Biden's probably just going to win it.
But what if he doesn't? Because 21% are undecided.
I'd be very happy with
jump
that.
To okay, so the 6% of Marianne Williamson, they realize she's not going to go. Then they jump on the RFK Jr. bandwagon, right? And that's 21% for him. And then that 21% of the undecided jump on his bandwagon. Now it's 48% to 58%. What is it? 48% to 52%?
Yeah.
That's serious. That is seriously close.
So the poll of 293 registered voters who plan to vote in the Democratic primaries and caucuses taken Monday through Friday has a margin error of plus or minus 5.7% percentage points.
Dude, 293, that's not even a decent sample size.
Kennedy, the son of Robert F. Kennedy, an anti-vaccination activist, has
always have to throw that in there.
They always got to throw that in there.
Every single time you see him.
Has said it's unfortunate that no debates seem to be on the horizon. So Williamson, the author of self-help books who ran for nomination in 2020, accused of DNC of rigging the election. Candidate suppression is a form of voter suppression, and the party that purports to be champion of democracy should not be so wary of its own house. She said in an op-ed published in Newsweek. In last election, with no Democratic incumbent in office, Biden participated in 11 DNC-sanctioned debates during the primaries.
Yeah, so for a party that's trying to save democracy every freaking day, I hear them talking about it. Why don't they want to host a debate?
Yeah, I mean, the left who talks about doing nothing but wanting to, like you just said, to save democracy. Why are you running away from democracy? That doesn't make sense.
I know why.
Well, we know why, because again, if you put
House divided has no grounds to stand on.
Yeah.
So if that house becomes divided, then it's just going to be a sweeping.
But I love how this article puts in
anti-vax.
Every single time. What I would encourage people to do is if you believe the vaccinations are a good thing and you believe that they were done correctly.
I'm sure he's done a lot more than just come out against vaccination.
Oh, right.
But that's a smear. They're trying to smear him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to my point, I would encourage you, if you think that the vaccinations were good, if you think that they were done justly and you think that they were done correctly and they are effective, I would encourage you highly to go read the report that the Cleveland Clinic just published a couple of weeks ago. and then decide
on the COVID vaccine specifically.
Yes,
Yeah,
on
the previous the
the
vaccines.
Cleveland Clinic is the number 2 ranked hospital in the world, not just in the United States, in the world. So go read that report and then form your own conclusions.
Yeah, because here's the thing: like when you talk about vaccinations, right? Vaccinations are very important, right? We can talk about all the like smallpox, polio, measles, all that stuff. They've all disappeared for a reason, over trial and error, and it took years to develop these vaccines, and they worked for the better of our society, and they have ridiculed.
So did this vaccination get rid of COVID?
Ridded us of all of it, but this did not do anything for COVID.
In fact, actually, the Cleveland Clinic found that you're with every shot, you're more and more and more likely to contract.
Where did COVID go, Nate?
COVID now, according to the CDC, is treated just like the common cold, so it's just a common cold,
which is what a lot of experts were saying
from the beginning. It did some weird side effects where it took away a little bit of your taste, a little bit of your smell, and there are some
just a little bit of
a
little bit of critical thinking. I'll probably get smeared for this.
I love critical thinking. Let's hear it,
don't
Stuart.
Get us banned.
By the way, hello TikTok and the 150 people that we are able to connect with now. I will no longer talk about the T word and that because it
That got us banned.
So the Cleveland Clinic put out a statement saying that people are misinterpreting that paper. Interesting. We'll have to revisit that. And then it killed over 1 million.
Full disclosure,
vaccinations.
I don't have much info on vaccinations. So I'll just say that. But you just admitted that the vaccination for COVID did not work, but COVID's not that serious right now because you would say like it ran its course. Could you make that same defense for the past
you absolutely
diseases?
You could. I would think so.
Yeah. I mean that's an interesting thought as well, right? Because back when like the measles, mumps vaccines first came out, I'm sure there were side effects and issues with those and things that happened there. But right now, I mean, we've seen.
If you want to go down a rabbit hole, go down the anti-vaxxer. Like the anti-vaccination rabbit hole one time. That's a deep one.
That's
almost as deep. Pun completely intended. I'm gonna forewarn people. That's almost as deep as the flat earthers. Yes. Score 1 for the big guy.
I have a question to propose.
Well, propose your question, sir.
Would you guys be in favor of a legislation or law that requires them to debate every election?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
If we are going to try to save democracy, then they should be performing in democratic structures.
The F-22 Raptor question, by the way, Mach 2.
Really?
Yeah,
so
that's what he said.
Twice the speed of sound.
Is that what that is?
I'm pretty sure every Mach is like
over the speed of sound.
Well, Mach 1 is like breaking speed of sound. Mach 2 is like double the speed of sound. Mach 3 is triple the speed of sound.
Yeah.
I believe.
So a couple of comments we got coming up here on TikTok. So it's not like the common cold. Most folk are either vaccinated or have antibodies through exposure, which is true. But the CDC, and I'm just stating exactly what the CDC said. They said treat it like the common cold. That's what they said. I know people who died of COVID unvaccinated, and there are people who've died with the vaccinations. I mean, that's
a
both
lot
ways.
of people died from COVID, unfortunately.
And then, okay, there we go.
We all caught up?
Yeah, caught up on that. So there's only so many comments I'm going to read. There's certain comments where it's just like they're trying to provoke us. So, you're just going to leave those alone. Got to learn to read through the lines there. But no, I do like the discourse. I love people being able to talk with us and discuss things. So please keep those coming. We absolutely love that. So
I wonder how they feel about Democratic debates.
So going back, Democratic debates, let's talk about that. So coming back to your point, Stu, I think every year, regardless whether you're Democratic, Republican, whether you are the president and coming back to run against, other nominations, I think you need to do it every single time. I do not think that they should be able to skip out on those debates. I think that's a good way for us all to see all of them up
Maybe
on
a
stage and talk.
disqualification if they do.
Like a disqualification of being able to run for president. I like that.
If you won't perform in a debate, then I think you should be disqualified from being nominated.
How can I trust you to go run our country if you're scared to debate other people?
Well, or if you're that secretive.
And then here, another person on TikTok says, I agree, debates can be very important. Debates are key. I would rather they actually stop, because here's my thing. I would rather they stop with all of the campaigning, right? Stop going state to state to state. I want to see you debate, and I want to hear your thoughts, but I want you to perform your job, because when you get into office, all you do is focus on your campaigns from there, it feels like.
I disagree. Because I think that every candidate needs to hit every state that they expect to get votes in. And the reason for it is because how are you going to connect with your constituents?
I guess I can get that, but
because those rallies and stuff, like how many of those rallies have like dinners and stuff like that where people come to
and you get to go talk to them,
and they actually interact with the candidate and like, hey, this is something that's really bothering our state. This is a problem. We need to have somebody that is willing to try to attack these problems.
But then shouldn't it be up to the state representatives and not the federal representative? Or the national representative?
Yes, but there are certain things that affect on a national scale economically. Most, I guess,
like tax rates, things of that nature.
Most to mind is economically. The other thing is infrastructure wise.
Yeah.
If you aren't going and touring these states, then what do you know? How do you dictate what they get as far as an infrastructure budget? Like, for example, Pittsburgh has the most bridges of any city in America.
Right.
Like, and it's not even close.
Right.
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I know it's not close. Like, if you don't go to Pittsburgh and drive across some of those bridges, how do you know what state they're in?
Right.
Like, and how do you know if they need repaired or not?
Yeah, so I guess that's a good point.
You need to go from sea to shining sea.
So I got a couple more comments on here. What's going to happen when they go overseas to debate other leaders? That would be interesting. I would love to see our leaders debate other leaders.
When we have the one world government?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Globalist. I see that campaigning should be less about speeches and more about candidates meeting and hearing. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, more of a conversation, maybe.
From Americans and hearing their concerns, perspectives. I really like that. Autumn. We got somebody on here commenting about that. She's sticking with us right there. We never got to see Tattoo. Camera was on Nafe. Pan over to Ryan real quick. So real quick, I just want to talk about that. That's actually really cool. Talking about that, because when you're going from state to state, I like the idea of being able to meet with the people and do that. It's just what's frustrating for me is, and what you see most of the time when somebody gets into office, it feels like they're not actually focused on doing their job. Sometimes it feels like they're solely focused on just what the next re-election is going to look like and how they're going to get back into office, So I understand what you're saying and what TikTok community Autumn is saying and them on there. But yeah, it's frustrating to think that they only care about getting in again and again and again. It's not about doing your job. It's just, as long as I can maintain my position. And that's what I don't like. That's how it feels.
Oh, it definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of good does come from going out and meeting people and getting in front of people in different states, because each state, and we've talked about this time and time again, has different things going on. The problems in Wyoming are not the same as the problems in Pennsylvania, and the problems in Pennsylvania are not the same as the problems in Georgia. Problems in Georgia are not the same as problems in Maine.
Right.
So you have to go and see what is affecting people. And like I said, infrastructure and economically, like, think about Idaho. Their main, I think their main source of economy is potatoes. Right. So what happens if you don't go out there and see what's going on in Idaho, and then you pass some, law saying, oh, well, potatoes are bad. And then it just cripples their economy.
See, and I feel like that's why we should really focus more on a state.
And I use that as a very loose.
No, I see what you're saying. But
example.
I feel like that's why.
Potatoes.
Dude, if you don't like potatoes, then are you really interacting with the Fact Is podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not commenting and sharing if you don't like potatoes.
By the way, do that.
Here.
Do that. Show them that.
So, written right there on the board. Like, comment, share, and
since we were late getting on TikTok, we should probably catch them up with the Trump indictment and the Biden. Just let them be aware of the information.
Hey, do you have the old man filter? Or is that just your face?
I do not. That's just my face. I'm old as hell. If I did say he, she, him, her, I apologize. Yeah. So, anyways, let's go here. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
You just keep cracking the door. Like, stop.
So this is our board right here. So for anybody who joined pretty late, or unfortunately TikTok had to join late, this is what we've talked about so far. The Trump indictment, a little bit about potential bribes coming from the Biden family, potentially 17 different recordings. We're on the Democratic debates now, and then we got 2 other topics that we're going to be able to discuss. So if you all have any other thoughts on that, we can revisit that if you all have any questions there.
Yeah, give us your opinions on Trump indictment and Biden's.
Yeah, because if anybody's done their own research, we have the Trump indictment, the Biden bribes. I would love to hear your all thoughts on there.
Absolutely.
But if you haven't done research, just maybe you can tune in if you follow us on Facebook or YouTube.
Or the Royal
Rumble. or the Rumble or anywhere else. You can go back and watch this video.
Oh, dude, I was talking to a guy at the arcade today, and I actually hit the Royal Rumble. I was like, yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitch, we're on, YouTube, we're on TikTok, and we're on the Royal Rumble. He was like, the Royal Rumble? I was like, we're on Rumble. Sorry.
Ever since you said that was like Stu's favorite
It's such
thing.
a staple.
It really
the
is.
Royal Rumble.
So yeah, cool. We got that covered. So I think we move on. We start talking about the China spy
Eric
base
Swalwell.
potentially coming up.
Wait. He was just sleeping with a spy, not putting him in Cuba.
All right. So, China has reached a secret deal with Cuba to establish an electronic eavesdropping facility on an island roughly 100 miles from Florida, the Wall Street Journal said on Thursday. But the U.S. and Cuban governments cast strong doubt on the report. Such a spy installation would allow Beijing to gather electronic communications from the southeastern U.S., which houses many U.S. military bases, as well as monitor ship traffic, the newspaper reported, citing U.S. officials familiar with classified intelligence. The countries have reached an agreement in principle, the official said, with China to pay Cuba several $1 billion to allow an eavesdropping station, according to the journal. So the agreement between the two U.S. rivals, both ruled by the communist governments, has caused alarm in President Joe Biden's administration, posing a new threat close to America's shores.
Come on, man.
Why y'all got to spy on us?
I ain't putting that over there. You already sent a balloon.
If such a facility is built, the Chinese will use Cuba as a beachhead for collection against the United States, said Daniel Hoffman, a former senior CIA undercover
officer. Dude, if I'm Cuba right now, I'm looking at that deal like, I don't know.
Money.
Well, I'm looking at it as money, but then I'm also like, okay, so how long is it before they want to start stashing troops?
Yeah, good point.
How long is it before they want to put up a
military
military
they're
base?
both communist countries, so.
Yeah, I know, but I get that. But how long is it before then Cuba gets overrun by China because they start bringing in military personnel because of the billions of dollars that China is funneling into them?
Interesting thought.
We'll cut the billions off,
and we're just going to take over. However, the U.S. has a long history of spying on China.
Once you get on that needle,
yeah, it kills you. In its own neighborhood, it's widely reported to have used Taiwan as a listening post for the mainland and regularly flies spy planes in South China Sea, angering Beijing. So there's that. Until a hurricane hits it.
That's true.
That's what Brian said on TikTok. Yeah. So I mean, that's an interesting discussion to have there as well. Cuba, China, I'm not shocked that they've kind of made an alliance here and that they're working together to be able to build this sort of network to be able to spy on us. Is it concerning? It is. But at the same time, how much more are they going to get? I guess communications-wise, they could get a lot more than what you can get out of a satellite, where a satellite, you're just getting imaging, more than likely. But with the hacking capabilities that China or the U.S. or anybody else has, we'll just have to wait and see what they get out of there. Now, how is the U.S. going to deal with this?
How does the U.S. respond? Do we invade Cuba? Because that's kind of what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Bay of Pigs? I
just think we look like complete hypocrites when we freak out over this stuff because we do it across the world.
We do, but I guess the counter argument is...
We're in it for the interest of the world.
Yeah. Well, no, the counter argument is...
For democracy?
For democracy. We're not communists. So
Why?
I don't know.
Prestige.
So here's what a couple people are saying on here. It's a communist way to take over, which, I mean, true. So like if China is basing themselves out of Cuba, what's stopping them from taking over? And then the U.S. should just lift the Cuban embargo.
Man, I would funnel billions into Cuba.
I would. Having a military puts a target on your country. I mean, yeah, but
what's
you
that
need a
country
military.
that doesn't have? Is it Costa Rica?
Does it have a military?
I think Costa Rica has a military,
I know Switzerland is like neutral in everything.
but they have a
military.
A good military though too.
Yeah. It's the dumbest embargo in human history. I'll be honest. I would love to be a little more educated on the Cuban embargo. Did they do that when?
That was back in the 50s, I believe.
Okay.
We should just lift all our embargoes and sanctions on countries.
Even Russia?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting thought there.
I don't know why we can't all get along and just get rich.
You know what I mean? Why can't we all just get along, get rich, and start to form our alliance against the aliens? Because.
Bro, have you seen Independence Day? That stuff is real.
I mean, all I'm saying is...
Have you seen Superman? Zod comes down and wrecks Metropolis, bro. Like, wrecks New York.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest.
Just him and Soups. That's it. That's all it took.
So J-Romp talks about how it happened in the 50s. I just don't know anything about the embargo. Like,
I'm
I
pretty
don't...
sure, like, we don't accept any goods or anything like that out of Cuba.
That's why we can't get Cuban cigars and stuff, because we don't
I think
bring
that
any imports in from Cuba, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I feel like that part of the embargo has been lifted, though, because you can get Cubans now.
Can you?
Uh-huh.
Or are they fake Cubans?
No, I think they're real Cubans.
Huh.
Or maybe you can go and buy Cubans.
Keep the
and then bring
embargo
them
on
back.
police. It keeps China in a really bad position on its world stage. Interesting stance. What's your stance on police? That's a really, really random question. I mean, I back police.
Good police.
Yeah, good. I mean, good police officers, of course. I mean, it's
Good upstanding police.
just like I back anybody who's a good, upstanding citizen, and I dislike anybody whose character is out of line. I'm not gonna, side with somebody because of their career. So yeah, I'm more about who you are as a character, not necessarily your career or anything of that nature. So moving on with that. Is there really any good blah blah? All right, anyways, we'll move on from that. Not touching up on that because I'm not going to get dragged into that kind of discussion. Yeah. But anyways, Cuba, China, is this something to be worried about?
In the sense of China trying to establish a military presence in our backyard, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, we have a military presence established in their backyard.
Right.
Why wouldn't they have a military presence established in ours?
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's just like a back and forth with these kind of things.
But I mean, the problem I have with it is it does lead to escalation. Eventually,
Right.
Like everything escalates.
I think we've escalated for a long time.
Oh, I'd
now.
say so. I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all, Stu.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is tough.
Have you ever seen Team America? Like,
so what do y'all think? I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I see it as a concern, but honestly, I think Cuba's putting themselves in a bigger situation if they decide to let China in.
I think we just need to talk to these countries and be like, let's try to work out a deal. Let's work something out.
man, if only we had somebody in the presidency who's decent at working a deal.
If the U.S. lifted the embargo, doesn't that put China in a poor position in terms of staying in Cuba? Interesting.
Potentially.
Interesting thought.
If we lift the embargo and then we put them kind of on their heels at that point, I could see both sides. I do believe that the embargo with Cuba is kind of stupid. But at the same time, like, I'm not as educated on that subject as I'd like to be. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak to it a whole lot.
Also, too, China should
J-Rom said, does a bear shit in the
China
woods?
should watch. I don't know. They shouldn't cross a certain line because we do so much business with them, and we have so much being sourced from China into the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is, like, we are the most consumeristic country on the face of the planet, I believe.
Yeah, we are.
and we are absolutely like consume. So, I mean, you keep messing with the largest economy in the world, and you keep putting yourselves adversarously, I guess that probably is not a word, but I just made it up. But if you keep putting yourself in an adversarial role, eventually those things are going to backfire on you, because what happens when we get a strong leader in place that says, no, we're going to open American manufacturing. We're going to bring all the manufacturing back to the United States. We're going to start making our own goods. We're going to start selling our own energy. We're going to start doing those things. And when that happens, that hurts a lot of those other countries that we do import exports with. So I don't know. J. Rump said China isn't going to do anything unless they want their economy to collapse. The West would cut them off.
And interesting, but again, right now, I mean, even when you look at like the sanctions that we put on Russia, Russia's economy is stronger than ever because they partnered with China. Now, granted, is it going to be a good long-term thing?
Now they're in China's back pocket.
Exactly.
So it's like, whose back pocket do you want to be in? The people who rule with an iron fist, or the people who rule with military across the world?
Right. And then
AKA Iron Fist.
So J. Romp also said Cuba is clearly in the sphere of influence for the United States, and if they attack Taiwan also.
That's what he was talking about. If China attacks Taiwan, the West cuts them off.
So interesting thoughts there, but let's move forward. So China spy base, we'll keep tabs on that, of course, because here at the fact is we talk about
unfortunately, that article was not about Eric Swalwell.
It was not.
And his
relations
with that woman.
Relations with that woman.
Spy.
You think China wants to deal with a rogue nation in Russia? It's bad for business. That's a good point too. But we'll see. We'll keep on top of that. So Ukrainian troops. Well, let's talk about.
Hold on, before we go forward, what happens when the world starts to reject Russia, and now China's got Russia in their back pocket? Does Russia then, or does China then cut ties with Russia and put them out on an island? Because China is in the interest of China.
Or does China look at them and say, basically, you come under our wing, you're now a Chinese territory? And then they expand into Cuba, and then they look at North Korea, and then
dude, have you seen all the work that they're doing in Africa?
I have not.
Oh, dude, China's all over Africa doing infrastructure projects and stuff like that. So China is out for China. Make no mistake about that. Just like the United States is out for the United States. We, try to parade and say, "Oh, hey, yeah,
it's
we're
like
here
a game
for
of Risk."
So
it is like, are you gonna roll a 6 or are you gonna roll a 3, bro? Because I'm over here rolling 6s right now. So like, if you're gonna roll anything less than a 6, then it's gonna be a slaughterhouse.
So they're talking a little bit about Russia and how their GDP dropped and how it has less than the state of Texas. They'll keep it in arm's length just like they did in terms of the war in Ukraine. And then $4 billion for USD. Okay, cool. So they're discussing a little bit there on that whole thing.
I just think foreign policy is interesting because
foreign policy is interesting.
I mean, we view ourselves. I mean, I don't personally, but we have viewed ourselves as the good guys, and like everybody else is coming after us because they want to, whatever, overtake us, or they want what we have, etc. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But it's like Russian citizens probably view them as the good guys. China citizens might view them as the good guys. It's just, I don't know. All these countries are fighting for.
They're all fighting to be the king of the hill.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
That's literally what this is. It's just like a huge game of King of the Hill.
I mean, they're just all fighting for their own territories
until the aliens come down.
And then
we all have to unite, or we get independence.
And it just cracks me up.
And then Will Smith has to go and save us all.
It cracks me up when these politicians get up here and they're like, "We're saving democracy. We're fighting for democracy.
Yeah, okay.
These nations to be free." And
it gets old after a while.
I just don't buy that stuff anymore.
I believe that about as much as I can throw a dump truck. Or, how's the saying go? I believe that as much as I believe I could throw a dump truck there.
Yeah. What is the actual, what is it, like, I believe you as far as I can throw you or something like that.
Something like that.
But anyway, so Russia's improved.
Any more comments on the old tube of views?
They're all letting it go.
Okay, cool.
What
about YouTube?
YouTube. No, yeah, we're good. Just
What
talking about
about
that tattoo. Nothing on Facebook.
No Trump or Biden things?
No Trump or Biden things right now. Well, I mean, they did say not the leftists and Biden, they are out for China. So there was that comment, but let's move on, because I want to talk about Russia and their improved weaponry and tactics that pose a challenge to Ukraine's counteroffensive. So Ukraine troops are probing Russian defenses as spring gives way to a second summer of fighting. And Kiev's forces are facing an enemy that has made mistakes and suffered setbacks in the 15-month-old war. But analysts say Moscow also has learned from these blunders and improved its weapon and skills. So Russia has built heavily fortified defenses along the 1,000-kilometer, 600-mile front line, honed in electronic weapons to reduce Ukraine's edge in combat drones and turn heavy bombs from its massive
Getting back to you on that, Dave.
Cold era arsenal and precision guided gliding munitions capable of striking targets without putting its warplanes at risk. The changing Russian tactics, along with the increased troop numbers and improved weaponry, could make it challenging for Ukraine to score any kind of quick, decisive victory, threatening to turn it into a long battle of attrition. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Saturday the counteroffensive and defensive actions are underway against Russian forces, asserting that his commanders earn a positive mindset about its success. Ukrainian authorities have stopped short of announcing the start of a full-blown counteroffensive. A major factor still limiting Russia's capability has been its decision to keep its air force from forging deep into Ukraine. After it suffered heavy losses in the war's initial stages, its attempts to knock out Ukraine's air defenses have failed. Thanks to supplies of Western weaponry, Ukraine now poses an even more formidable challenge to Russian aircraft. Barons emphasized it's essential for military leaders in Kyiv to continue keeping its adversaries' warplanes at bay, so that the counteroffensive isn't the moment that Russian Air Force suddenly finds its capability and courage and romps all over Ukraine. While the Russian Air Force has operated in relatively small numbers, it has modernized its stock of bombs to turn them into gliding weapons that have proven efficient. He said the 500-kilogram or 1,100-pound bombs adapted with GPS module can inflict massive damage. The Soviet Union produced those bombs in uncountable numbers. Adding that the Russians drop up to 50 a day for a major psychological effect. One such bomb, accidentally released over the Russian city of Belgorod near the border with Ukraine in April, blasted a huge crater and slightly injured one person. Russian military bloggers hailed the punch of the gliding bombs and their ability to hit targets up to 70 kilometers or over 43 miles away. One former military pilot said in his blog that work is underway to convert the 1,500-kilogram or 3,300-pound bomb into gliding munitions. These conversions allow the Russian Air Force to ramp up strikes on Ukrainian forces without risking its warplanes. Such responsive Russian fire represents the greatest challenge to Ukrainian offensive operations. Improved Russian electronic warfare systems have destroyed about 10,000 Ukrainian drones a month. Wow.
That's a lot of drones.
That's a lot of drones. While they also have been able to intercept and decrypt Ukrainian tactical communications in real time. They've also...
Speaking of drones, do you remember that drone attack on the Kremlin?
On the Kremlin? That was horrible.
Pow!
And then they also have learned to intercept GPS guided rockets fired by Western supplied launchers like the U.S.-made HIMARS, HIMARS, which embarrassed the Russians and inflicted major damage, the report said. Russia's military is able to improve and evolve its employment of key systems, but noted it could struggle to respond to similar quick adjustments by Kyiv that could make Moscow's units likely to rapidly lose their coordination. So there's that.
When does the EMP bomb make its debut?
I don't think one of those has ever been released, have they?
I'm saying, like, when do you think that makes its debut? Because that would change whatever.
That would change everything drastically.
If Russia has set up all these defensive places, right, and then they go in and just drop an EMP on them, that just wipes out all of their microchips. It wipes out all of, I'm sure something like that exists.
Oh, I'm 100% sure something like that exists, but when will it be
without
used?
being a nuclear tactic?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not a nuclear weapon. It's just a weapon that just completely fries all of your, your whatchamacallit, your electronics.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. When do they start pulling out those kind of weapons, right? Because when you're this is turning into, we've already known it's going to be a war of attrition, but how much longer can Ukraine keep up, right? How much longer can Russia keep up?
How much longer can the USA keep supplying them with hundreds of billions of dollars?
A very long time.
Well, when we print it. I mean,
it's pretty simple, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. So, to how long is this all going to keep up? Nobody will ever know. We'll know when it ends, right? I mean, it's about as simple as that.
Afghanistan kept their war going for, 40 years?
And how long were we involved? 2001.
I mean, Afghanistan started off against the Russians. We armed them, and then you turned around and used our weapons against us.
And we pulled out when? 2021? Or 2?
Yeah, remember that terribly botched
pullout? I remember the botched pullout. I just couldn't remember what year. I'm pretty sure it was 21. So man, we were there for 20 years.
If people pulled out as bad as America pulled out of Afghanistan, there'd be the population would be through the roof.
How many people are there right now? 8 billion?
Something like that.
It'd be 10 billion.
It'd be 20. That's how bad that pullout was.
That's how bad that pullout was.
So, fellas, do we keep back in Ukraine?
Man, I don't know. Because we want to contain communism, but...
Yeah, but I think it's more or less about invasion of a sovereign country.
Yeah. I mean,
they're not an ally. I don't know how long we do continue to back Ukraine.
How long do we?
That's a hard question to answer because it feels like we're doing the right thing, but it also feels like maybe we're doing the right thing because we have
interest there.
We have a lot of things that we've done that have been shady in Ukraine.
And not to mention the interest that we would have.
What's the interest that we have?
With their
the interest that we have is that they're really close to Russia.
Well, but if I'm not mistaken, they have a pretty good they have a lot of resources there that you can actually get out of there. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I know that they're like the wheat basket of what is that? Eastern Europe.
Not really worried about wheat. I thought there was something.
No,
there.
like food. They're like a very agricultural rich country.
Nick, what were you saying? Who's after the resources, Russia or the USA?
The U.S. I think the U.S. has.
The USA just wants to be in war with Russia.
Yeah, I mean that's a potential.
I mean, and a soft war.
Yeah,
they want this.
They want this. We don't want to go all out and go.
They want this
war
war
against Russia,
extended.
but we do want to. We want to have something that we can continue to spend money on.
Yeah, they want this war to go long and slow.
I also think that we want to have a war in place so that we can continue to test weaponry.
And so Russia just thinks Ukraine should be
part of them.
So Ukraine has an extremely rich and complementary mineral resources in high concentrations in close proximity to each other. The country has an abundant reserve of coal, iron ore, natural gas, manganese, salt, oil, graphite, sulfur, kaolin, titanium, nickel, magnesium, timber, and mercury.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought we were in it over mostly their resources. Again, their resources, and because they were an ally with us. Now, granted, they might have not been part of NATO, which I think they are trying to work on now.
We are declared ally of Ukraine.
Are we not? I thought we were. I thought we helped establish Volodymyr Zelensky into the position he got into.
I think that was the Biden. I think that was the Biden family that helped.
I thought it was Obama.
Might have been Obama.
It's Obama. And why don't you look up 2014 Ukraine?
2014 Ukraine. I don't know. There's a bunch of different things. The Revolution of Dignity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's just look up Vox.com. Let's see what they gotta say.
No, not a Vox article. Seriously?
Crap.
That's not
okay.
even credible, bro.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right off the top. Wikipedia?
That's more credible than Vox.
Let's do like Reuters.
Reuters.
So here's a couple things people are saying on TikTok. So,
Here, while you're doing that, I'll read the...
yeah, cool. One person says we should definitely be in Ukraine.
Why?
All right. So, let's see.
For humanity.
All right. Buddy just said China was the best country on earth.
Okay, so at
Don't
least
know that
50,000 opponents of Ukraine's president Viktor Yanukovych rallied in a central Kyiv square on Sunday, reviving the protest movement after a Christmas and New Year lull. The mass rally in Independence Square was a continuation of street protests that erupted in November following Yanukovych's decision to abandon a free trade agreement with Europe in favor of closer cooperation with Russia. So that's why a lot of that happened. So Sunday's demonstration came a day of after baton-wielding riot police tried to disperse protesters outside the Kyiv courthouse, sparking clashes in which at least 10 people were injured. Where are the next steps? We will fight, protest peacefully. Vitaly Klitschkov, an opposition leader.
Names, bro.
I know, it's so hard. An opposition leader and former heavyweight boxing champion told the crowd, which waved the blue and yellow national flags of Ukraine. Today, the authorities use the militia as a weapon, silencing the people's mouths with batons. Unless the vote is brought forward, a presidential race is not due until 2015. Another opposition leader, Arseniy Yatsenyuk, called on the West to impose sanctions against to impose sanctions against senior state officials, including Interior Minister Vitaly Zakharenchkov. Who said had violated
throwing like a Russian accent
Ukraine's
on
constitution by authorizing the use of force against protesters.
I am the machine.
Yeah, so
hey, we do have a couple of TikTok comments. Kevin said it's about money.
Yep.
DeAndy73 said Russia didn't give a poo about Ukraine until they discover a large pockets of natural gas. And then Kevin said the Ukrainian government is as corrupt as ours. I don't know that that's possible, but
I don't know if that's possible.
It's there.
So
But,
yeah,
J-Romp responded to Kevin and said, "Not as corrupt as Russia, though."
But my government said we are helping Ukraine to save democracy.
that they're afraid of having debates about.
yeah. So I guess ultimately it was there was protests and riots because the current president was trying to make more deals with Russia.
Was that Klitschkov or whatever?
Viktor Yanukovych?
Yankovic?
Yes.
I wonder if he's related to Weird Al.
Did the Obama administration have anything to do with that revolt?
Stu, are you trying to lead us down a rabbit hole
Yeah,
here?
are you trying to
Or
lead us to-
America?
Are you trying to lead us down a rabbit
I
hole?
don't see it in the article. I didn't see it, but I believe the Obama administration did help Volodymyr Zelensky, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong
some of
on
these
that.
TikTok comments are fire.
Oh, they are pretty funny.
Did you know that
J-Rob
Trump?
just said the Russian oligarch yacht competition is crazy. I believe it, man.
Did you know Trump sold arms to Ukraine?
Yes, I did hear about that.
When? In his presidency
2017,
in 2017, 18? Okay.
17 or 18.
Wow.
It
Interesting.
was part
I
of
did
a
not know
defense
that.
package he sent to him.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So there's that. And that's kind of like Russia, Ukraine, the situation they have going on with the weapons they have there, and just a little history on back in 2014. So woohoo!
Back in 14. Well, back in my day,
Back in the good days. Yeah.
we used to walk to school uphill both ways.
That's all of our topics, y'all. And
All right,
we're on an
so-
hour and a half.
All right, so I think we need to get back into the UFOs.
Back into the UFOs, man. That's a rabbit hole. Now,
Wow.
I do have a fun announcement. that we're going to talk about. So,
we have fun announcements
next week.
We're
going to be talking. I think we're going to do a half and half episode.
Ooh,
so what we're doing is half of it.
Oh, that's right. Next week.
So we might have a potential guest on the show, which we would love to have on. But on top of that,
get your tin hats ready.
Get your tin hats ready, because next week's episode is going to be really fun. So real quick, the fact is, across all of our platforms, okay, you need to like, comment, share, and follow. You
Shameless
all
plugs.
need to do that.
Shameless plugs.
For the fact is, because here's what we're going to be doing. And
Hit
you
him
can
with
do
it,
it on
Nate.
any of
Hit
us,
him
right?
with it, Nate.
Facebook,
finger
YouTube,
guns.
Twitch. Bam.
It's not going to be the fact is next week. It's going to be
The conspiracy is.
Oh yeah,
So
get
this
your
person
popcorn
says-
ready, boys and girls.
This is funny. Kevin says that is the reason we are helping them. The UFOs are enormous over there.
Oh, dude, they're enormous.
So next week's episode, we're gonna do about half conspiracy theory. So what we're each gonna do is
I
we're
don't
each
think we
gonna
should do
pick
half. I think we should go just full
the
blown,
whole thing.
full blown 10 hats. I will wear a metal strainer hat.
We will discuss this throughout the week, because there
Oh,
might
no.
be some important things that drop. That's the only problem.
If there's an important thing that drops, we give it 15-ish seconds
Okay.
of
It's just highlighting it. This
yeah,
is
just
what
like,
it
hey,
is.
this happened today, but back to the aliens. Back to Atlantis, back to the ring in the Sahara.
So next week we all come with a different conspiracy theory
Oh
that
my
we're
God.
up to date with and that we know, and we're all going
Oh
to share our
my
conspiracy
God,
theory
here
right here
we
on the
go.
I
fact
thought
is.
that's
I've
what
been
y'all
living for
did
this
every
segment.
episode.
just me.
We like talking conspiracies over
Oh my
here. What can
God,
we
lizard
say?
people.
Lizard people.
Oh my God, flat Earth.
So,
I'm over here. I'm just getting excited.
So be ready for that next
the
week.
hair is raising on
Everyone,
my neck right now.
That'll be so much fun. That'll be a good one.
Cold chills.
But yeah, we are.
Oh my God.
We are an hour and a half.
Lizard people. Project
Firm believer
Looking
the
Glass.
alien thing is to shadow a U.S. president being arrested. Ooh, former president. Or current president, for that matter.
I mean,
Could be both.
Both of them?
Conspiracy that D. Trump is innocent. That D. Trump is innocent. Interesting. Maybe, but smacking your rival for pennies on the dollar is nice. Goodness.
Dude, some of this TikTok comments
Somebody
are
all on
fire.
over here. J-Rob, I like you. Stick around, bud.
Oh, dude. So, I mean, just to give you guys a little preview, we've got Project Looking Glass. We've got lizard people. We've got flat Earth. We've got Earth within Earth. We've got all kinds of stuff.
One, Ryan.
Is there just one you can pick? I don't think
We'll
so.
have multiple episodes of conspiracies. Don't worry.
You gotta tune in next week because I just threw out some fire topics.
Or-
Which one am I gonna pick? It might even be one of the ones I just announced.
I love this. So one of them says you think
Atlanteans.
one of them says you think Trump is still president. No, he's former president, but we have a current president
Not according to QAnon.
who has
That's
right.
another conspiracy.
QAnon.
Oh, Pizzagate.
Pizzagate.
Oh my God.
Damn, there's so many good ones.
There's so much
and then
good.
Kevin says, "I say we arrest them all and start over." 100%. I like Kevin.
Kevin,
You're making sense over here.
stop
What are you
spitting
doing?
logic. Goodness gracious, my friend. You keep talking like that, you're gonna end up on a list.
Yeah. Watch it. MK Ultra. MK Ultra is another good one.
Nope. MK Ultra does not count as a conspiracy
Why
theory
not?
because it was proven correct, sir.
Ooh.
Yes, MK Ultra did happen. The documents have been declassified. It was absolutely an operation. Therefore,
Does Trump
it does
have
not
those documents?
fall under. He might have Mar-a-Lago.
J-Rob said the same thing. He said
Yep.
they said because it's true.
Because it's true, it does not count as a conspiracy theory.
Interesting.
I was gonna say MK
Charlie
Ultra,
Manson.
but I had to calm that down.
I love that.
Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
Have you heard the conspiracy that Charles
haven't.
Manson is actually in control of Hollywood?
What?
You know what would be
Whoa.
another cool exercise? Is if, like,
Real information? We just do that on a regular basis.
there's like
right.
a certain topic that you feel strongly about, you argue from the other side.
Ooh, like opposite day?
Yeah, like you have to argue against yourself.
But can I wear my
that
clothes
would be
backwards?
hard. So Charlie Manson was in MK Ultra.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to look into that a little more.
That's not a conspiracy theory. It's
I haven't known too much
That's
about MK Ultra. I
factual
don't.
information.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that.
It's
a little
mind
bit.
control, bro. They used LSD to do experiments on people to see if they could control their minds. They like peeled them in front of like TV screens for hours and hours and hours, giving them bunches and like all kinds of hallucinogenics and all kinds of other things.
Identity Production says, don't forget that all late night talk show hosts are controllers of the Illuminati. So actually, there's a really scary one.
Did you
see?
I like that one.
Jim Carrey.
Does that mean we are?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Jim Carrey
Jimmy
going
Kimmel?
on to Jimmy Kimmel and he was like, talking about it?
Yeah,
and
he's like, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
According to everybody on there, the laughs were just put in there.
Yeah.
But everybody at the studio was like
dead silent
and scared. They were like, what is going on?
Yeah. Stu just threw up oh no. We are on a list.
Oh, man.
Hey, how about... Oh my God!
Speaking of conspiracies, is the Earth flat or round? Well, of course it's flat,
bro. I challenge you, Nafe, to go on to TikTok, type in "flat Earth," and let a couple of videos play, and just watch what the algorithm gives you over the next couple days.
No,
dude, I challenge you.
I don't want to because I don't want my algorithm to be filled with that crap.
I challenge you, Nafe.
Fine.
It's conspiracy week, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
If we're gonna dive in, we gotta dive in.
Ooh, this is interesting. So, J-Romp and Kevin are talking to each other. So J-Romp says, round, but what's the payoff for the conspiracy? Who's making the money?
That's true.
Goodness gracious. I like TikTok community. Welcome to The Fact Is. Y'all are part of our community
Does
now.
it make a difference if it's flat or round?
Ooh. Dude.
Ooh.
Why is it that planes only get to a certain altitude and they don't fly in straight? If you look at the Earth, right, as a globe, then the plane routes don't make sense. But if you flatten it, they do. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so here's somebody right here. Well, that's crazy, but here's something else. Happy Flag Day and happy 77th birthday, Donald Trump. I didn't realize today was his birthday.
Oh, I didn't realize it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, bro. Hopefully you don't end up in jail.
Keeping us all enslaved and at odds with each other is the true prize. Gravity can't work on a flat Earth. Oh my goodness, y'all are killing me over here.
Bro, how does water stay on a ball?
Oh.
Gravity.
A spinning ball at that.
All right, y'all, let's shut this down.
Y'all better tune in next week because we're going to bring some heat.
Kevin just came up with the BlackRock and Vanguard are making the money.
Bro, we know that. That's not a
We've known
conspiracy.
that.
That is
They're trying
literally
to
factual
make it
information.
renting, only renting here in America. That's what the idea
Around the
is.
world, you will own nothing and you will be
Around
happy.
the
You will
world?
eat crickets. Bro, you didn't hear. Have you ever seen the guy who runs the World Economic Forum, Klaus?
Doesn't he look really weird?
Oh, dude, he looks like Dr. Evil, straight
That's
up.
creepy.
And he wears like the Dr. Evil apparel.
BlackRock and Vanguard own literally everything in the world.
I think together combined they have like $40 trillion in assets.
What?
Yeah. I know BlackRock has like 22 trillion in assets, and Vanguard's like right there with them.
Oh my goodness.
Trillion with a T. Here you go, Nave. I don't know if I've done this thought experiment with you. How much different is a billion from a trillion?
Hey, thank you for the follower, Kevin. A billion from a trillion? I don't know. I know like a million if you do it in if you do how many seconds does it take for a million or like how much is a million seconds?
It's
like
smoke coming out of
11
his ears.
years, right? Or 11 days. And then
if you subtract a billion seconds, where are we in history?
A billion seconds?
A billion seconds.
where are we in history?
Egypt.
World War II.
World War II. Okay. What's
if you
a trillion?
subtract a trillion
Egypt.
seconds, about 3000 BC.
3000 BC.
Yeah, that's how
Good
much
Lord.
difference there is between a billion
Billion
and a
and
trillion.
trillion.
And now
Hey.
BlackRock and Vanguard have like $40 trillion of assets between the two.
Jimmy,
Ryan,
thank you for the
Ryan, you've
follow.
said that before on here.
I thought I had, but Nathan his mouse-like memory, so
I have horrible memory compared to you.
mine's a steel
They
trap.
literally own a piece of everything.
Everything. If you go and you look at any company out there, if you go on the S&P 500, right, you just go down through them and look at who the major shareholders are. BlackRock, Vanguard, one
So
and
now
two.
we all have to come back next week and we have to argue that they are the good guys.
No, next week is conspiracy week.
Next week's Conspiracy Week. All right, Conspiracy Week next week. Let's go ahead and start signing off. This was the 128th episode of the Fact Is Podcast.
128.
Real quick, I just want to go through a list of everybody that we say thank you to. So thank you to all military personnel, active duty and retired, law enforcement, fire and rescue, doctors, nurses, paramedics, hospital staff, farmers, those in American manufacturing, those in social work taking care of the U.S. citizens, and last but not least, ethical. Congressional representatives.
It is almost an oxymoron, but there are some that do exist.
There are some that are ethical. It was a pleasure to meet you tonight, Jim Beans. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming by.
TikTok, YouTube, Royal Rumble.
All of those places, TikTok, YouTube,
Twitch.
Rumble, Twitch, Facebook, everyone. Thank you all so much. Can't thank you all enough.
How?
So I love you. So
Get out of here, you weirdo.
With that being said, make sure you all tune in next week. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m.
We would love to have you guys.
EST.
Yep, EST. We follow. We do all of our information every week on there. Also, if you look us up on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, we post a lot of our articles, our videos that we get from events that happen throughout the week, whether
Anything
it's congressional floors.
we try to post it throughout the week.
Yeah, we really get a lot of our stuff from independent sources.
So we've said this before, but we try to source our material from multiple different sources. So we find a story, we try to corroborate it with the right article, with the left article, and with the center article, and then we try to give our opinion based on what we find, because we all know that there are three sides to every story. You have the right, the left, and then what's true.
The truth.
So that's kind of what it's our philosophy here at The Fact Is. So that is what we strive to do. And also, if you find out that we are incorrect about something,
tell us.
Let us know, because that's going to make us better. We don't mind to be wrong. We mind to be wrong and knowingly be wrong. Because that's not cool. We're not major news sources. We don't want to actively steer people in the wrong.
Yep, and we make mistakes too. We're human. We're just here to be genuine individuals and have a discussion, and we want to be able to bring a long list of followers with us and have fun. So thank you all so much. Can't thank you all enough. Like I said, this was the 128th episode of the Fact Is Podcast. Make sure that you all share this, not just with those that you agree with, but also with those you disagree with, because more importantly, those you disagree with, because us here at the Fact Is Podcast believe that we have more in common than what we don't. So, like I said, thank you all for coming for the 128th episode. We were your host, Nate Moses.
And I'm Ryan Mays.
And Stu, thank you so much for everything you're doing back there behind the scenes. And we will see you all next week for episode 129, Conspiracy Week. Peace.